Okay everybody, thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to have a look at something from Anker. Now I haven't dealt with Anker before, this is the first time we had any interaction with them. That being said, I've got a few different Anker products, and I didn't realise that until I got this and I started having a look around. So I've already got one of their power banks, I've got a set of their headphones, and I've got a number of their cables. I didn't realise that they had their fingers in so many different tech pies. Now, if you follow the channel, you know I've done a number of different power station reviews. So when Anker reached out and asked me if I wanted to have a look at this one, I was like, yeah, absolutely. You know, obviously, well packaged, I wouldn't expect anything less. So unfortunately, we are heading into winter here, so it's cooler months, low sun. In fact, not much sun at all today. There's a big cloud covering up there. The reason I wanted to pull this out today is I want to throw this out the back with a solar blanket and get it charged up. This unit apparently will take up to about 600 watts of solar. Conveniently, I've got a 600 watt folding solar blanket in there in the shed that we're going to plug into this, and we'll see how that goes. Now, since these guys are obviously a known brand, they've been around forever and a day. Put some details up there. Oh, this is nice. Yeah. Whilst I don't like to do unboxings, I do like to do an initial impression of the product out of the box. Just again, because I think sometimes that's when you're the most honest, when you're first grabbing the thing and having a look at it. Okay, it's got a bit of weight to it. Obviously I've carried the box out of here, but I wasn't sure how much of that was product and how much of that was, you know, accessories, etc. Yeah, not overly heavy. I'm guessing 12, 14 kilos maybe. When I had a look at the reviews of this, I was looking at this and I thought, you know, this is a copy and paste of the Delta 2 that I've got, but it's not. It's so much nicer. And look, it's very close. It's very close, like design wise, with the handles on the side looking like the EcoFlow Delta 2, but just the finish on the front, the little accent colors, the socket that's on here is just nicer than the Delta 2. It looks, this is just a plastic, you know, molded finish or something, but it's got this checker in it that makes it look like a carbon fiber. Don't get me wrong, it's not carbon fiber. On the end here, it's got these little blue accents on the vents that just look outstanding. Just nice little touches. I don't know whether blue is Anker's colour. Certainly I don't know whether it's their colour in relation to their solar generators, power stations, for example. I just find it interesting that they're going blue, being that you've got Blue Eddy out there, and Blue Eddy, obviously that's their colour. So this is the Anker SOLIX C1000, basically a 1000 watt hour battery with an 1800 watt AC inverter in it. Now that's the part that I like the most. As I've always said with any of the solar generators that I've got or done reviews on, I'm all about the power. I want the biggest, largest capacity that I can have. Obviously an inverter to match. In a shit hits the fan or a, you know, grid down situation, if you want to run a fridge or something along those lines, then I think you need sort of 1000 plus. Now, we're still not going to get 600 watts out of this 600 watt solar panel today. It is winter. We've got plenty of cloud up there, but right now we've got some sun, so I'm going to make the most of it. 300 would be nice. We're up to 250. 260. Free energy is free energy, and that's what these things are about, right? While we're doing the unboxing, let's just quickly talk about what's in the box, because this might be important to you, as I think it is important to me. I don't believe they provide you anything that will allow you to connect a solar panel that has MC4 connectors out of the box. Right, so we've got our standard inclusion of a power cable there for AC. This is like a double adapter for an XT60, which is nice. Then we have a standard cigarette lighter socket to your XT60 as well, so you can charge this off the car. You're going to be charging that around about 100 watts. That's based on a limitation of the car, not the unit itself. And I believe if we plug this into the AC, we're going to get this charged up in under 60 minutes. I think it's something around about 52 minutes or something, super hot. That being said, I'd recommend charging it at a slower rate. Look, if you're about to walk out the door and you forgot to charge this thing, sure, put it on turbo, plug it into the power, have it charged under 5 hours, ready to walk out the door. But for battery health, you want to charge a little bit slower than that. So, off the bat, if you're going to pick one of these up, and you've got a solar panel that has MC4 connectors on it, or Anderson, for example, so what I've got is an Anderson XT60 there, then you're going to need to pick up an adapter. This, I think it was like 14 bucks or 15 bucks or something off Amazon. So let's plug her in. So it has, the screen has come on, and I'll tell you now, it's difficult to read in the daylight. Just want to jump in here and say, if you get one of these units or you get one of the Anker units, go and get yourself the app. Because when I was initially doing my testing out in the backyard, I hadn't installed the app yet, and I was having issues with the screen brightness out in the direct sun. What I actually found, get rain there, what I actually found was that in the app, the screen brightness was actually on medium. So now that I've adjusted that to high, it's much better. Could still be improved, I think, but it's much, much better. You can change your charging rates on your battery, so you can drop it right down if you want to extend the battery life, or you can pump it right up, put it on turbo, pump the thing with about 1400 watts, have it charged in about 50 odd minutes. Also control your outputs, so if you want to turn your AC on or off, and obviously you got control of the light as well. And the one thing that I really like in the app that's missing in some of the other competitors is it shows you the temp of the unit itself, which is absolutely awesome. Oh, nice. Just the power button has a little blue LED right in the middle, and it looks Mickey Mouse. It just looks really nice. It's just a little silver button. It's just a little metallic button. Oh, all of the buttons have the little blue LED in it. Just a nice touch. Just something. Just looks really, really nice. Button presses are instantaneous. Like just pushing this button to bring the screen on, just coming straight on, straight off. Okay, I'm going to tell you now, their screen is not their strong point. That screen needs to be brighter, and I think you've got the information there, but it's just too small. Just in case you were wondering, 5 years warranty. In the meantime, we're going to run through some additional testing, and then I'm going to take it out camping next weekend, and obviously use all these things in anger. I do want to just make sure that it will run my favourite induction cooktop. This is the Tokit cooktop. This is a 2000 watt induction cooktop. Now this normally pulls around about that 1800 watts. To test this and just make sure that this handles the load. I have no doubt that it's going to. The only notification that we've got the AC on, obviously we've got little blue light, which is lovely, you know I like those. And we've got the frequency, the AC frequency up in the top right hand corner, which is really tiny. I would like a little bit more of a notification on the screen that the AC circuit is on. We've got the light, so that's not that much of an issue, but it's just something I'd like to see. All right, there we go. So we're right, 40% pulling 1270, so nearly 1300 watts. It's going to be a walk in the park for this thing. Now it's the first time that I've heard the fans running. I've had this on AC charge inside. The biggest, it was only down to around about 80%, but the highest charge that I saw going into it was around about 650 watts. So that wasn't providing any real challenge for this unit. But this is the first time that I've heard the fans on this thing going. And again, we're pulling 1272 watts. So it's certainly not noisy by any means, but you're certainly hearing it. Now, as far as power stations goes, and all the different ones I've tested, I would say this would be somewhere in that middle of the range. All right, let's push this thing a little bit. So it's going to turn our heat gun on, 1600 watts. So I'm just going to turn that off. I'm just going to load up this heat gun and to see what this will do. Right, 1600 watts. All right, I need to go and get our little heater. Okay, so we've brought out the big guns. I'm going to push this induction cooktop to the side for now. Obviously got no issues running the induction cooktop off this thing, which is literally all I really want it to do. Let's try the air fryer. So this one's around about 1400 watts. I'm just trying all the different sockets here. There we go, that one. Let's do this thing. All right, so 1265, it's got no issues with that lad at all. And look, I didn't expect it to be. Literally, if you can look at the sticker on the back of your device, the product that you want to run, as long as it says less than 1800 watts, plug it in, you're good to go. If you want to run multiple devices, as long as they add up to less than 1800 watts, plug them in, you're good to go. Anyway, point being, induction cooktops, air fryers, heat guns, whatever you want, you're pretty much going to be able to run it off this thing at a one at a time scenario. You know, kettles, whatever. Some of your kettles are going to be around about that 2000 watts, so you need to be a bit careful with that. Just for the hell of it, let's try our induction cooktop, and this is going to be well over this thing's limit. I just want to see how it handles it. So with the induction cooktop, it's on setting 2, so it's on all but its lowest setting. I've got the air fryer running down here, both plugged into the C1000, and we're working. So look, just to prove to you, we are getting to a boil on that water. Would you believe it? And this is set to its higher setting as well. So this is set on 205 degrees, which is the highest setting on this. So both of these things are running. So, and no problems at all. Let's crank this induction cooktop all the way to the top. That's at 99. And instead of pulling around about 600 watts, we're now pulling about 1500. But again, still well within capabilities of the 1800 watts of this. And you can see we've almost got an instant boil there. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to unplug that. I'm going to plug in some solar into this thing and get it charged up. While we're here, just got a nice little container for my induction cooktop for when it's travelling. So that goes in there. If you want to know any details about the little pouch, just hit me up in the comments and I'll give you some details on that. Now, here's somewhere else I'm hoping the Solix is going to come in handy. Now, I've never done this before, so I don't know how it's going to go. I assume it's going to be fine. And I'm away having a camp, and I've got the caravan hooked up to the back of the Bajera. I've been playing with radios and antennas and all sorts of stuff, right? Come on. Beautiful.
Papa Alpha Whiskey QRP.
VK2 Papa Alpha Whiskey VK30J. Thanks for the call.
Previously, I was playing around with the XS, the DC charger, the Victron XS charger for the van, and I was playing with the engine protection settings, which is the voltages where you choose when the DC cuts off. And after I've been playing with that and lowering them down and all that sorts of stuff, I forgot to turn them back on and turn them back up. So consequently, the Pajero is a dead dodo this morning. Or at least I'm assuming that's what's happened. I can't think of any other reason for it to go flat. Open so it doesn't lock itself, but just so you can see, we got nothing. But conveniently, as part of the setup, until I get everything finished and rewired in the van, I do have an AC charger. So whilst I could plug this into the inverter in the back of the car and then charge up my battery or put a charge into the battery, what you're going to do is use the Solix, and we'll do that. How dead is she? It's under 9 volts, so yeah, I need to get this charged up. Anyway, so it's connected up, clamps, connected to the charger, 30 amp charger, 71%. We're playing around with this with the battery, and I used it to cook dinner last night in the air fryer for the boys. Now, because this is not my Victron charger, I can't check it via the remote, via the phone, via the app. But the good news is I'm going to be able to see what it's outputting here via the Solix screen, which is nice. All right, so out 385 watts. So we're chucking in 14 volts. That's good. I'm just going to go and check the battery. I don't expect it to start, but I'm just going to try it because the alternator is obviously going to do a quicker job than the charger. I really should leave it for 5 or 10 minutes, but I want to check it. As much as I'm camping, I have somewhere to be in about less than 2 hours now, so I really need to get this charged up. So this needs to sit here and do its thing. I guess the point I'm trying to make is providing, yeah, look, this thing is going to save my backside this morning. Don't get me wrong, again, in my circumstances, I've got 600 ampere lithium in the back with a 3000 watt inverter, so I could certainly have ran the lead from the charger back there and topped up the battery, so that's no biggie. I don't have leads, I don't have those jumper packs that I've got. They're in the Commodore, so this thing is saving my butt today. There you go. Actually, in saying that, I need to go in and have a look and just round and round pack it up. And I had a horrendous thought. I'm thinking, hang on, I've got the charger on here, battery's getting charged up here and putting 30 amps into it. Still got the DC-DC charger and I haven't changed the settings on that yet. Just logging into the Victron there. And you see 30 amps. So everything I'm putting in here, it's taken. So I need to turn this off. I need to turn the charger off while I get this done. Because both the battery for this and the battery in the van are both going to be depleted from sort of just being here last night. The thing is, we're putting in, you know, nearly 14 volts or whatever it is into this via this. The Victron system's obviously, even the one in the car that I wasn't messing about with, thinks that the battery's now fully charged. So it's going to start trying to charge its battery, which is doing its job. It just doesn't know what's going on. So everything we're putting out now is now going into the starter battery, which is what we need, obviously. So we'll see how that goes. Rookie mistake. About 12 something, 12.2, so I was going to see if it starts up. So we're getting closer. Anyway, we'll let that run for a bit more. Again, now that I don't have the batteries in the back pulling it down, or the caravan. Whilst this is a product review of the SOLIX, bit of a tip, I suppose, for you. If you have a battery charger and you've got your caravan or your XS, or you've got some sort of a DC-DC charger going on, and you're trying to maybe trickle charge your starter battery while you're away, what you need to be aware of is if you've got a fridge or something that's pulling down your batteries, or your batteries over the back are discharged, it's going to apply a voltage to your starter battery. It might, if you've got a trickle charger, it might be a couple of amps. Problem is, if you've got, say, a 30 amp DC-DC charger in the back, it's going to see that voltage that you're putting into the battery. It's going to think your battery is fully charged, and it's going to take its 30 amps from your battery, because your battery's going to have that capacity. But you're only putting in a couple of amps as a trickle charge. So you've got a deficit there. So depending on how long that's going on, your batteries at the back, your house batteries might be fully charged, but you might really deplete your starter battery. So just be aware of that. And eventually it would probably catch up, but it might do damage to your starter battery. So if you're going to put your starter battery on trickle charge, then you really need to be turning off your DC-DC chargers in the back if you're going to be leaving it. And while I'm still waking up and giving you pro tips from the rookie, when you do something like this and you put your keys in the car and you're trying to start it, either, if you can, put a window down or take your keys back out, because sometimes cars with central locking, when the batteries go, they can do weird things, and you might have your keys in there, think, I'll go back and I'll start that, try again and start that later on. They might lock once it gets a bit of a charge in the battery, so just be careful of that. Either leave your door open or take your keys back out. Right? I haven't done it in this instance, but just be aware that can happen. Take your keys out, leave a door open, wind a window down. Something like that you can get in case the car locks itself again. Isn't that the most beautiful sound you've ever heard? Don't get me wrong, I would have figured it out somehow. I've literally got a little King's battery that I was using for my radio and stuff. I would have literally just connected that up and let that apply voltage to the battery. Would have figured something out. But that SOLIX was just the easy way for me to, and this wasn't intentional, this was not for the review, but literally just a case of, the portable nature of that thing, to be able to just pick it up, go and drop it up there, had the charger in the van. Luckily, that was the biggest thing. Otherwise that thing wouldn't have been any use to me, but just to be able to grab it as a package, drop it up there, put it on charge, and away you go. We started on 74%, so just to give you an idea, and I'm curious as well, it took about 14% of that It took about 14% of that Solix to get that battery charged up to a point where it would start. And it only just started, but now we're just going to let that run and do its thing. And now, like the circle of life, I've got this plugged into the back of the Pajero just via the cigarette lighter socket. Now I've got to say, it's the longest cigarette lighter socket I've seen on one of these. Normally they're only sort of about 1 metre long, but this one's probably closer to 3 metres. So well done, Anker, for giving us appropriate lead. So we're putting around about 100 watts into this. Once I get going and I'm underway, I'll plug this into the AC inverter over the back and I'll fully whack it with, you know, 1000 watts. Because when I get down to where I'm going, we're going out on a boat, I want to take this fridge, plug it into that, and I'm probably going to take the air fryer out on the boat as well, just cook some lunch while we're out there. So see how that goes. And now I can plug it into the inverter. We'll just turn that on. We shall see a nice amount of power going into this. So many different ways you can charge these. Just pumping in about 600 watts at the moment. That'll should pick up to around about that 1000. I'm now meant to be at my destination in less than or about an hour, and I haven't finished cleaning up camp yet, but that thing will be charged by the time I get there. Right, because I've been too busy playing with this thing and I haven't had a chance just to sit down and give you a bit of the figures on it, but it's worth just touching on the specs as well. It is pouring down rain. We've got another East Coast low here. These things just keep coming at us. I think you can see the palm trees out the back taking a hammer. So let's just get this wrapped up, and I'll give you some quick information about the specs if you're interested. Obviously you can find it on the website. If you want to have a look at the website, link will be down below. Currently a promotion on for about 500 bucks off, down to around about the $1,000, $1,049. And I think you get some sort of gift there as well. Don't know what the gift is, they've just asked me to mention it. Consider it mentioned. So, as far as the capacity goes, 88 amp hour battery, 1056 watt hours. Can be charged in about 43 minutes if you want to put it on turbo. I think that tops up around about 1400 watts, 1300 watts or something like that from an AC charge. 2400 watts of capacity from all the 9 ports. Now the ports you've got two USB-Cs, which is putting out 100 watts each. I think you've got about 18 watts on the USB-As. You've obviously got around about your 100 watts coming out of your 12 volt socket there as well, 110 watts. And then you've got all those ports from about 1800 watts from your AC side. But obviously you can do sort of that power boosting thing where you can go up to 2400 watts for resistive loads only. So it does say 3000 cycles and a 5-year warranty. 5-year warranty seems to be about the standard. Some are only offering 3. I really like that it's got an 1800 watt inverter in it. It's a big inverter for an average size battery. You know, we're talking less than 100 amps. So if you're going to push that 1800 watts out of that, you're only going to get around about half an hour, 40 minutes. So if you're absolutely tapping out that AC inverter, don't expect it to run much longer than that. But it is nice. Like, again, I was using this for cooking the boys dinner and stuff like that when I was out camping. Run the air fryer, come down to about 70%. It really saved my bacon when the Pajero battery went flat and I needed to get a charge into that, so that was awesome. Use it for some HF radio while I was out camping. I did only use the 12 volt side, so the 12 volt we're only running QRP, that's low power for those that aren't amateur radio operators. So we only used the DC side from the 12 volt. I really should have turned on the inverter just to see how clean it was from the HF. I'll remember to do that next time. Awesome on the boat. When we took it out on the boat, my brother-in-law there was grabbing his esky, and I said, no, what are you doing? He goes, what do you mean? I said, I've got a fridge in the car, I've got a power pack, I'm grabbing it, we're taking that on the boat. I think he'll be getting himself one soon. I might even gift him one. And I think that's about it. I've used it in numerous different ways, and it's worked perfectly in all those ways. Realistically, everything that you'd expect from, you know, a modern day power station. Regardless of brand. So overall, a positive experience for the C1000 from Anker. This has been my first experience with an Anker power station. and just jumping on the website, they've got lots and lots of different varieties. As far as the unit goes, you can get an expanded battery as well, so if you want to double your capacity. I've seen that they've got a carry bag, like a plastic bag to cover it up. You know, if you're going to use it out camping, something like that, that might be something nice to chuck on it. And obviously they're also in solar panels, but I haven't tested any of their solar panels, so I can't give you an opinion on those. Right, that's it. That has been the Anker C1000 Australian version with the 240 volts and 50 hertz AC output. Thanks very much for stopping by. Any questions, stick them down below and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Thanks very much for stopping by. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.